Hi everybody, welcome to checkpoint 2. So, I already explained what checkpoints are and I want to take the opportunity to talk to you a little bit. Now keep in mind, when I teach guitar students on a one-on-one basis in real life, meaning not over the internet via an online course, I have the opportunity to jump in and specifically fine-tune where they need to put emphasis on. I can see where they're struggling with and I can give them very personalized guidance. Obviously, I cannot do that as you take this online course. Therefore, I implemented these checkpoints because I want to make sure that before you move on, you are really good to go and comfortable with the content that we covered in the previous lessons. That is of utmost importance because you are pretty much halfway through the course now. There are a couple of more milestones and hurdles to overcome, and therefore we need to make sure that what we have discussed in the previous lessons is something you feel confident about. And I'm not talking about you being perfect and everything sounds just brilliant. That's not what I mean, but I want to make sure that before we move on with the course, that you are really ready and in good shape. So let me just quickly really just recap what we have covered so far. And I have to look over there because I want to make sure that I remember all the chords that we discussed and the other things that we went over. So we had the E minor chord. You should be familiar with this chord now and you should know how to play that. The same is true for the D major chord as well as the A major chord. G major we covered too. We covered the C major chord, the E major, the A minor, and the D7. So again, those chords you should be able to play by now, just individually by themselves. That's okay. I'm not expecting you to be able to switch in between all those chords back and forth flawlessly, but you should be able to technically build those chords and know which strings to play along with each chord. You should also be able to play the chords with your thumb as well as with your plectrum. And you should be able to do the couple of strumming techniques that we covered so far. They were very basic, so I don't actually expect too many challenges for you when it comes to strumming, and I also base that on my experience with my real life students, for lack of the better term, that strumming, at least the strumming patterns we covered up until now, were not necessarily a challenge for either one of them. So, with that being said, now very important, and I know I sound like a broken record, is your commitment to practice on a daily basis. Again, when I meet with my students once a week, my real students, so to speak, once a week, you know, I see exactly whether they practice or not. It's not rocket science to find out whether they actually put in the work or not. Now with you, I do not have the ability to scrutinize you that much, which is obviously a good thing for you. However, you know, from a teacher's perspective, there's a downside to it, clearly. Now, with that being said, obviously, it is your responsibility and your obligation to make sure that you put in the work. Otherwise, you don't get the results. By just watching me playing and not practicing, you won't get there. So I'm gonna stop here because again, I don't want to sound like that broken record in your head and reminding you of practicing. But again, please put in the minimum amount of work. Commit the 20 minutes a day at a minimum to your practicing exercises. You have all the tools you need. If there's anything you're struggling with, send me an email and I will make sure that I get back to you as fast as I can. Okay? So again, we're like halfway through now with the course, and there are a couple of things ahead of us that will require you to stay committed to the course, to the materials, to your daily practicing. But since you made it that far, I'm pretty sure that you will be in a very, very good shape for the remainder of this course. Okay? Now, it's a good opportunity for you if you do not feel comfortable with some of the elements that we touched upon in the previous lessons to maybe take a week off or so. And by saying take a week off, I don't want to contradict myself. I want you to revisit the old content and really focus in on the stuff that you don't like. Because the stuff that you do like, meaning the chords you like, that's something you can very likely play very well by now. But the things that you don't like as much, well, that's a little bit of an issue, right? So before you move on, take your time now. Go back, look at the old content, look at the chords that you're struggling with. Make sure that you practice those, and then when you feel you're in good shape, then it's time for you to move on to the next lesson. Okay? And I hope you're having fun with the course, because keep that in mind. You're playing an instrument. You already learned a lot. But the reason why you picked up the guitar and this course in the first place is probably because you love guitar music. So I hope as you practice and play the songs that we have covered so far, you're having fun. You can enjoy it. You can show it to other people, or just enjoy it but when you play it by yourself. So it's important that you keep that in mind, that that practicing is also, it's not only repeating the same thing over and over, but it's also actually playing the instrument, and that should bring you to a certain degree some joy, despite the fact that sometimes it can be very repetitious. Okay, so I'll see you in the next lesson, and I look forward to the remainder of this course. I'll see you then. Bye bye.